Welcome back to the Kane and Day Show. I am your host, Kane. You can find me on Twitter at Killing Kane and YouTube at Killing Kane. You know, we're streaming over there. I have maybe a NCAA 14 Dynasty stream coming in the works. And the guy who's going to help me with that, my co-host, go ahead and introduce yourself, buddy.
Yo, my name is Day. You can find me on Twitter at Realdaygaming1 and follow the show on Twitter, the Kane and Day Show.
Do it. You know, it doesn't cost you anything. It keeps you updated on the show. Also, if you're watching over on YouTube, go ahead and leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. It is free to do. Also, hit that bell notification so you know when our videos go live. All right, Ben, what are we talking about today?
It is, oh God, what week is it? 16. Week 16 of the NFL season.
Yes, it was. There were a lot of blowouts. There was a lot of blowouts this weekend.
Yeah, it really was, not great.
And, capping off a season, or the last two seasons, for a Cardinals player who announced his retirement after the season today. It's been a rough 2 years for J.J. Watt. He announced his retirement after the season. 3-time DPOY. Fantastic edge rusher when he was 100% healthy. Was hoping that things would turn around once he went to Arizona. They started out really, really hot last year, and then Kyler Murray found Call of Duty, and I've sent Ben a lot of Kyler Murray stuff lately. But with the season they're having this year. Not to mention that he had to get resuscitated too long ago. It was not a good sign. That's true. One hell of a career for a potential Hall of Famer.
That never won a playoff game.
Yeah. That's crazy, but, you're only one guy. How much can you really do? He did his part.
Aaron Donald did it.
Yeah.
No, he had Von Miller.
That's true. J.J. Watt did it all by himself with a broken Jadeveon Clowney.
Yep.
Let's play a little what if for a second. If Jadeveon Clowney was healthy all of those years, it was going to be the very, very gross edge rush pair.
Yeah, you still got to score points, and the Denver Broncos are seeing that this year. So
that's true. All right, so getting started into the week, Jacksonville went to New York, took care of business with the Jets. Trevor Lawrence is looking like the quarterback we all thought he was, and he's doing really good. I've changed my opinion on him.
Zach Wilson's really good.
Hey, Zach Wilson might be cut at the end of the year.
Yeah, I think he's going into next week inactive. Probably.
It's
sad because I actually don't know who their backup is.
Joe Flacco's still there, but
he's not the backup though.
But it's the other guy. I could pull it up real quick.
I got it. Depth chart.
Chris
Stevner. Yeah, that guy.
Stevler. Yeah.
From South Dakota.
Gave them life when he came in. Not enough life. Ravens beat the Falcons. Not very shocking there. They just are a better team. Hoping to keep the Lions' playoff hopes alive. They went down to Carolina and got smacked.
350 rushing yards. They almost broke they were on pace at halftime to break the NFL rushing record.
Yeah, crazy.
Bad. And they had everything go for them because the Giants lost, the Commanders lost, and the Seahawks lost.
Yeah, they sure
just
did.
Had to win.
The Chiefs won, but not by as much as I thought they were gonna win over the Seahawks.
It was 17-3, and they just kind of coasted to the.
I thought Patrick Mahomes was going to have 5 touchdowns. 4 of them were going to be to Travis Kelce, and probably 1 would have been to Juju. I expected this to be a complete blowout. as you said, they were probably coasting. They already had this. They already secured it with winning. But I mean, to hold the Chiefs to 24 is pretty good.
Gotta score to win though.
Saints spoil Deshaun Watson, and come into town and beat them. Deshaun Watson's still not looking the greatest. So you're hoping for more in year 2. He's got to put a lot of work in with those receivers. He's gonna. Yeah, I'm sure he will be. First game we're gonna talk about here. We're actually gonna dive into Bengals Patriots, and we were talking earlier, and I think we also said on the show that they were up 22-0 at half, and I mean, it doesn't help when Joe Burrow's throwing interceptions. That's for sure. But Joe Burrow, he went 40 for 52, 375, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. I mean, this Patriots defense is really good. They have been very good all year.
I mean, 40 passes completed is crazy.
That is crazy. It's a lot. It's a lot.
The Patriots had some fight in them, though.
They sure did, but
it was too much.
Joe Mixon, 65 rushing yards. Got to get that up just a little bit. I mean, yes, he technically beat me in the playoffs, so now I'm having to go to the last place game. Yay me. But for this team to be elite, which I think they are, Joe Mixon's got to run for close to a hundo every game for them to really excel, because him rushing for that much opens up every door to him, and the Bengals
passing game too.
Well, yeah, and the defense has played very, very well this year.
Mm-hmm. The offensive line's sorted itself out.
They sure have, because what's the one thing I always say? What is it, Ben?
Defense wins.
Whoa, get out of here.
You got to keep your quarterback up.
There you go. Yeah, no, if you keep your quarterback standing upright, you're going to win most of your games. Let's be honest. Quarterback pressure is a big part of it, and if you're not getting pressured, you're going to do a lot better things. T. Higgins is the most underrated wide receiver, I think, in the NFL. One of them.
He doesn't get covered.
Well, right. But even with Jamar out, right, he then slots into wide receiver 1. Mm-hmm. And he performs being wide receiver 1. T. Higgins is very, very good. He just has to stay on the field.
That's true.
That's sort of the big thing. But 8 for 128 and a touchdown. And then his running partner right behind him, 8 for 79. No touchdowns for him. Very, very unfortunate. Trenton Irwin stole them all. And was 3 for 45. Joe Mixon, 7 for 43. Joe Mixon was around 100 yards altogether, which, as I said, the rushing needs to be there more. But Joe Burrow was slinging the ball around, dude.
Mm-hmm. In the first half.
He's so good. I love Joe Burrow.
Until he started throwing the picks, then, it all went downhill.
And then you have, on the other side, Mac Jones is just reliable, man. I feel like he is.
I'm telling you, he's good.
I've never doubted that he was good. Except when Bailey Zappi was a king for 2 minutes.
Wow. Well, I mean, it also helps they had, good field position 3 times off 3 turnovers, so.
Right. And
that's why the numbers are a little down, so.
One of the things is Matt Patricia does not need to be calling plays.
No. Hopefully they change that in the offseason.
I really hope they do, because I feel like they do have a very good offense if used right.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, here's your weak link kind of right now is this running back room. Ramondre Stevenson started off the year so hot. That dude was carrying the team.
To nothing, you're not going to run a lot.
Well, right.
Pass a lot.
Of course. but 13 carries for 30 yards. It's not good. And then you had a big
short field twice.
They had a big running back room coming into the season too.
Yeah, they still had, like I said, a short field twice. The one
Right.
I believe was in the red zone.
Kendrick Bourne though, and Jacoby Myers both starting to seem like they're decent in their own right. Can lead a team if, like I said, we get an actual offensive coordinator in there. Yeah, things might be a little better, you know. But Kendrick Bourne 6 for 100 and Jacoby Myers 6 for 83. Both caught touchdowns. His team came back. Their defense really stepped up. Devin McCourty got an interception. Marcus Jones got an interception. You know, this team has always been gritty on the defensive side, and I think for years to come they'll be all right. People want to come play in New England, and I think this team will make a big turnaround. Maybe not next year, but the year after.
I think if they just switch their offensive play calling, they'll make a big stride, but until then, they'll be constant where they're at.
Right. Oh yeah, the next one was a thriller. I do want to say it wasn't the best game, but I think it was second best of the weekend. And that is the Giants and the Vikings. Daniel Jones
had to show up.
He sure did, and he did. And he actually did it. But Daniel Jones is gonna earn some pretty good money, I think, in the offseason.
I don't know how.
It's because he's average, right? Mm-hmm. He's average. He's a little bit better than average, but he's not good. It's like he's all right.
It's like Kirk Cousins.
Right. And this is what you're going to get from him. 30 for 42, that's pretty decent on the day, if you're looking at it. 334 yards. It's kind of a little bit more than expected with what he has on the offensive side. You put him in a Kirk Cousins situation, right? Where you have, let's say you have two good wide receivers and a decent O-line that's going to protect you. You're going to look fantastic.
I mean, they have one, they just don't use them.
True. He threw a touchdown and an interception. And Saquon, this is what you like to see, him leading the pack. 14 for 84 yards, one touchdown. I do feel like they're not running him as much as they should, and I think the big reason is they don't want to injure him.
Yep, they should be scared of that.
Because when Saquon is 100% healthy and just has everything the line for him, he's the best running back in the league. He's right there with Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
And they're just scared of him getting hurt, which is fair. They should be. They need to be handling him with kid gloves because outside his rookie year, how many full years has he played?
0. Exactly.
So still looking good for him. They're receiving though two guys three guys went off for them. Richie James, Isaiah Hodgins, whose name keeps popping up at the top of their receiving boards, and Darius Slayton. Darius Slayton's not bad.
No.
But yeah, 90, 89, 79. Really, really good. Their offense might look different next year because Daniel Jones probably won't be on that team anymore.
Nah, he'll probably still be there.
You think so?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to go anywhere.
I mean, he's better than probably, I would say, half of the quarterbacks in the league. So
the only reason I think he would leave is to get to an easier division because as of last week before the Commanders and Giants played, all 4 were in the playoffs. So
yeah, so that's a good possibility though. You leave to win basically, and shit. You might try to go to the NFC South, maybe, if you like being in the NFC. It's a pretty easy division.
Yeah. Or
So
the AFC South.
exactly, one of the two. On the Vikings side, Kirk Cousins was almost perfect. I mean, 34 for 48, not on the completion side, but 299, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. You couldn't have asked for a better game from him. Dalvin Cook, 14 for 64. I mean, they're another team that it's shocking how much they're actually using him, because he's also a guy that gets injured very, very easily, and they have ran him nonstop all year, and Alexander Madison is just there. So
And Greg Joseph made a 61-yarder.
he sure did. Justin Jefferson is so unreal. He's
going to be better than Randy.
I think so. I think he will, because I don't consider Jerry Rice to be the best receiver of all time, because he did it back then. And defenses, I feel like, weren't as good or athletic as they are now. And Justin Jefferson's doing this against elite players.
Mm-hmm.
What, 12 for 133 and a touchdown, and then T.J. Hawkinson too, a guy that I loved him going here, which is crazy because it was in division.
Yep.
And T.J. Hawkinson keeps proving that he's the guy. I think once this Vikings team goes into the draft for a quarterback, I think they are going to be even scarier than they are now.
I hope they draft Bo Nix.
That's a tall order.
Pick. That's a dumb pick.
That's a tall order. But besides those two, their receivers didn't do anything. I think they need to get another person in this wide receiver room. They need to go out and get a solid number 2.
Yeah. I mean, if Hawkinson could hold on to the ball, different story. But that's what his problem was in Detroit, was the drops.
And Thielen
shocking.
Thielen's getting old.
Mm-hmm.
And
for a while.
He's not been as quick as he used to be. And I mean, he hasn't been fast by any stretch of the imagination. But he had the hands, and it looks like the hands are not there.
I think he's just scared of getting popped again.
I mean, I would be too. Especially when you're in your playing years of old. You don't want that to translate off the field. So,
right.
I think they need a solid number 2 that's just going to be a compliment to Justin, and I think this offense will be way better, especially when
you get respect.
I think they, like I said, they need to draft a quarterback soon, probably.
I'd say 2 years.
Yeah,
depends what the class looks like in 24.
Right, and so I think they're quarterback away from being a consistent in the NFC North,
especially with Rodgers being out soon. Jordan Love is not it.
No, and I really think
they
that
won the division.
I really think that Aaron Rodgers will not be on the Packers next year.
Well, that might be true, but the Bears look rough. The Lions have promise, but I don't think they're better than the Vikings, even though they crushed them at home. But that's what happens when the Vikings come to Ford Field. That's usually how the outcome is. But I don't know. I just think they're in line to just run the division the next 4-ish years.
That's fair.
Barring injuries.
That's fair. Well, it also depends on how well Detroit progresses.
That's true.
So I think the 2 bottom teams from here on out will be the Packers and the Bears. Unless the Bears just absolutely shake up everything and actually get a GM that wants to protect their quarterback, I don't see that changing anytime soon. So, speaking of the Bears, they got molly whopped.
Well, they were winning at halftime. It was 13-6.
Well, Devin Singletary decided he was going to be the running back I've talked him up to be and criticized him about, and he went off. So that was great. But yeah, they absolutely creamed them. They
just it wasn't close. The second half was not close. They didn't move the ball. I think Justin Fields got hurt again.
That wouldn't shock me.
I think he left and came back. I also could be mixing weeks too, so that's a start.
Yeah.
Because he did it against the Eagles. He left in the fourth and came back like a couple minutes later.
Yeah. Honorable mention, the Texans won a football game.
They beat Malik.
They beat Malik Willis, that's true.
That Titans offense is bad.
It's really bad, and it's still crazy that they're leading the division.
Well, it's because the Jaguars don't know what day they want to show up. The
Texans
are the worst team in football. And the Colts are on their third quarterback and a high school head coach.
Got him.
That's the AFC South for you.
49ers absolutely destroyed the Commanders.
I mean, Heineke got benched.
Yeah.
Played.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it was bad.
The next game we're going to be diving into here is Eagles-Cowboys.
Game of the week.
Yeah. Hands down. And here's the thing. Gardner Minshew threw 2 picks, but... And I know they were vital picks, too. But here's the thing. He went 24 for 40. 355 yards. 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. I think Gardner Minshew is going to be the Ryan Fitzpatrick of his generation.
Mm-hmm.
He will just be a backup quarterback. He'll play when needed. And you know what? He's going to have a good time nonetheless. Did you see that? Did you see that interview that they were doing with him at his locker this week?
No.
And his teammate was like, Gardner, over here. Yeah, so people are wondering, is the stash coming back? And he's like, dude, you're rocking one and it looks cool on you, so why would I do it? But yeah, it's coming back. I died. It was great. He's a great character.
See, the problem for the Eagles, though, is they needed that game.
They did, yes.
Because then Jalen wouldn't have had to play until the 21st of January.
Right. And you're giving him that time off. Yeah. I get it. But
now he's got to try and come back to secure that number 1 seed.
If
they don't do it this week.
Yeah, I think they'll be fine this week. But Miles Sanders, here's another guy where I'm like, you really gotta stop being this hot and cold guy.
Some guys just don't show up to work.
That's the big thing. And I get that this Dallas defense is really, really good.
And they put up 34.
Yeah. With a backup quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta get a little bit.
Quarterback that knows how to score points. I don't believe it.
He did well when he was in Jacksonville too.
I know.
But
it seems like every time I see a backup quarterback, they forgot how to play football.
Here's the crazy part: is that Devonta and AJ Brown were both over 100 yards, and AJ Brown didn't get a touchdown.
Yeah, Devonta vultured all of them.
He sure did. And then Dallas Goedert, love to see him back. 3 for 67, not a bad game. But I said this after the game. I said if Jalen Hurts wasn't injured, that
they win that game.
They do. Jalen Hurts is the MVP of the year, and it's not even close.
Mm-mm.
And everybody hated on him coming out of college. I don't know why. I said he was good in Alabama. I said he was good in Oklahoma.
I thought he was catching at Alabama.
I thought he was good his whole college career.
But it's always Jalen Hurts season.
It's always Jalen Hurts season, and I love how you've come around on him.
I did last year, but
That's
I didn't
fair.
like him in college.
That's fair.
I thought it was hysterical when Tua took his spot.
But this team is still poised to go far. I think that Jalen Hurts will come back stronger, better than ever, and this team is still gonna just wreak havoc in the postseason. Give me a Kelsey brother Super Bowl. I want to see it. I need it.
They both play offense, though.
That's true. But yeah, Gardner Minshew had a great game despite throwing 2 picks. I expected him to come in and just deal, and that's what he did. 55 yards is nothing to scoff at. So, well, he threw for more than Dak did. I'll tell you that for free.
Dak doesn't throw to anybody but CD and Dalton Schultz.
Yeah. He was 27 for 35 with 347 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. Zeke's another guy. Got to get those numbers up. You have to. Him and Tony Pollard didn't have the greatest games. Zeke walked away with a touchdown, and then Dak had 41 yards on the ground too. CeeDee Lamb, another game where he's over 100, X amount of yards. 10 for 120, 2 touchdowns. Tony Pollard on the receiving side was 6 for 61. T.Y. Hilton, newest addition, 1 for 52. Love to see that.
That 52, though, was on a 3rd and 30.
Ouchie.
That won them the game.
Oh, there it is. Dalton Schultz, 3 for 43. Michael Gallup, 4 for 36. I still think the Dallas Cowboys, not the Dallas Cowboys as a whole, but I think Dak Prescott is a fraud. When you have CeeDee Lamb on your team, who's arguably one of the top receivers in the league, yeah. It's just like, it's like how Justin Jefferson makes Kirk Cousins look like the greatest quarterback ever.
Yeah, I mean, but he actually has other targets, and yet he just doesn't throw to them. And not to the extent Stafford was this year with
Cooper
Kupp.
Yo, dude, it was just staring at Cooper from the moment the ball was snapped.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I mean, Michael Gallup is not bad.
No, Michael Gallup is very good. Dalton Schultz.
Noah Brown can catch the ball.
Yeah.
Throw it to him.
Yeah, and then you had one of the top 5 receivers, I would say, like 5-6 years ago with T.Y.
Well, I didn't expect him to get many targets this week because he just got brought in. But
right. But overall, this defense is still gross. Yeah, they just defensive mastermind in Dan Quinn, and it shows week in, week out. Yes, they got 34 put on them, but they still won.
Put up 40.
Steelers edge out the Raiders. Not shocking, the Raiders. I've seen stuff about them benching or getting rid of Derek Carr, and it's like, bro, you're not going to get rid of Derek Carr because that's going to make Devonta Adams furious.
I just think they need a better... Josh has to give up the play call.
Yeah.
If he's got too complicated of a system, you got to make some changes.
You don't have fucking Tom Brady anymore.
It's too late in the season to drastically change something like that. But in
right.
the offseason, he needs to give up the play call.
Yeah.
It's not working.
No.
That's all it is. It's not working.
Nope. Next game we'll jump into, though, is Packers and the Dolphins.
I think
I
want to start it with Tua needs to stop playing this year.
Yeah, I agree.
This is number 3.
Here's the thing, right? He had the same, like his head hit the same time it did the first time. The same exact way, where his head just went plop.
But he didn't stumble after, and his fingers didn't
change
direction.
I think he knew he was concussed and didn't say anything
until after the game.
until after the game because I saw his stats prior, and they were good.
Oh, he was torching him.
And then he got concussed, and it was absolute mayhem after that.
And then forgot where to throw the ball.
Yeah, 16 for 25, 310, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions, not good. 3 interceptions came from the concussion. I know that. Doctors, your medics, whatever you have on the sideline, should have fucking caught it.
It's not always easy to see, though.
Right, but I mean, at least the camera fucking saw it, you know? Somebody's got to be watching Tua when his head fucking slaps. It's not the fact that, like, he didn't get up stumble this time, right? It's like, if I'm the team doctor, and I'm sitting there, or whoever is on my medical staff, and I fucking see Tua's head snap back from the fucking ground again, I'm just gonna go check him. Because you can't be too fucking sure. Because guess what? Throw Teddy out there.
Well, see, since they never labeled the one against the Bills a concussion, this is technically only his second time in the protocol.
Right.
I would how they can get away with people with pitchforks yelling, "Don't play him the next 2 games."
Right. See, I just think somebody on the sideline should have fucking been concerned. You know what I mean?
Just because you hit your head, though, doesn't necessarily mean you have a concussion.
Right. I know that.
It was experienced this year. It's a little different, but
yeah.
The doctor I watch on YouTube do like break down like sports injuries.
Mm-hmm.
He said he personally, if Tua came into his clinic, he would not clear him for the rest of the season because that would be his third.
Yeah. Crazy. Raheem Mostert, Jeffrey Wilson didn't do a whole lot. Jeffrey Wilson got a touchdown, but when you get 80, what is that? 82 yards combined. Not good, but Jalen Waddle back to being on top. 5 for 143 and a touchdown. That just goes to show how fast and how good his legs are.
Oh, he's great.
And then Tyreek Hill, 4 for 103.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody else was under 25.
Mm-hmm.
I think he doesn't have enough time in the pocket. I feel like most times he's always having to like kind of scramble like that.
That's what's making him not throw well.
Right. And so
on pressure, he's under 30% completion.
Right.
With no pressure, he's like 80%.
Yeah, and so I feel like they need to look at their offensive line just a little bit more this offseason.
They just need to give them some protection because if they're going to rush 5 or 6, I mean, someone's going to get through.
And your running backs are combining for 80. Like, you gotta.
Well, this is because they're just stacking the box.
Well, of course, but it's like gotta do a little bit better. You gotta like get run game. Gotta get your passing game. Like, yes, he threw for a lot of yards, but that's just still on the run for his life. I mean, this team is really good.
They can be.
And I think that, their head coach is going to be there a really long time.
I hope so. I like Mike Daniel.
I think that you're going to see a Belichick situation where...
Oh, God. Where he's there for 45 years?
Because he's young enough? Yeah.
He's really young.
And he's a guy that's going to go with the times to... get close to his players because that's the kind of guy he is. He is a player's coach, and yes, Miami is a prime destination in free agency, but like him and Dan Campbell are coaches that players want to play for. So I think this team's going to be fine. Let's go over to the Packers side.
The return guy is quick. My God.
Let's see, what's his name?
It was funny because on the broadcast, they're like, they probably shouldn't kick to him because he's really good at returning.
Oh.
Returns it to the 9.
Nixon?
Almost brought it back.
Kayshawn Nixon. He had 2 returns for 133. Or 113.
Yeah, exactly.
But Aaron Rodgers, 24 for 38, 238, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. This again, He is so out of form this year.
He just misses Adams.
And it shows.
And
but
they let
he's
Sammy Watkins go.
Yeah.
They traded away MVS. He's got Christian Watson, and Christian didn't see a play inaudible at the line. That was an easy walk-in touchdown. If he had saw it.
The running backs aren't doing a whole lot. A.J. Dillon is 11 for 36.
Make Aaron beat you.
Yeah, Aaron Jones, 6 and 25. Alvin Lazard was 5 for 61. Christian Watson, 6 for 49. Romeo Dubs, 3 for 36. Mercedes
That's
Lewis.
another one with the stats being down. I mean, you heard 2 for 123 and returning. That's short field. That's a short field. A couple times.
Yeah.
Like I said, their first drive started inside the 10. So you're only going to get 9. Even though he got sacked in the first play, but that's not the point.
All in all, their defense kept him in it.
Yeah.
Tua getting concussed again kept him in it.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate to see because I like Tua, especially with this receiving core and his coach. Just the whole thing down there seems like it's a good time, and I want the Dolphins to be competitive in that division that has been ran by the Patriots and now the Bills. Somewhat, I mean, it's been ran by the Bills and the Patriots for like the last 30-ish years.
Yeah, for the most part.
You had the Jets in there a little bit, but most of it has been.
He's gotta be smart. I almost think he might look at retirement. I'm not even kidding. Because depending on how bad it is, like 3 within a 6-month span, like Wes Welker is the only person that had 3 recorded concussions officially diagnosed within a 12-month span.
That's
crazy. Look what he did early. He retired early.
That's true. Next game, the Rams absolutely blew the Broncos' backs out, but congratulations are in order to Russell Wilson. He has now thrown as many touchdowns as he does bathrooms in his mansion in Denver. He is at the 12 touchdown mark this year.
I don't know what I was thinking taking Denver in that game.
So you weren't here for the Baker Mayfield show?
No. Not after what I saw in Green Bay. Denver has a good defense, just as good, if not better, than Green Bay.
And
I figured, Denver might be able just to hold on.
Oh, no.
Boy, was I wrong.
They got blown out so bad they had to fire their head coach.
Every time the Rams scored, again, after 31-3, my cousin looked at me and just started laughing.
And then you get Nathaniel Hackett's post-game interview where he's like, I'm embarrassed. This is not how we play football. Next day gets fired.
I've seen. Happy holidays.
Yeah, not a good look for Denver. And I saw another video of their GM during the draft, and he was like at pick 9 where the Seahawks were. They were like, "Hey, throw Russ highlights on the screen." He's like, "This is a great pick. This is a great pick. How's that looking now?" Not great.
They'll be fine next year.
Bucks handle business to a third-string quarterback.
Barely. It took 7 minutes in overtime. It was 6-6 at halftime. I mean, Trace McSorley did what he had to do. They scored 16. Got 16 on the board. But it's just bad. That was an awful... I get the scheduler done way in advance.
Right.
Like, next year's schedule is probably getting wrapped up right now.
Yeah.
To get released in March. Right?
Mm.
But, man, were those games on Christmas Day bad.
They were not great.
Because you had the Rams-Broncos, that was 51-10. But at the beginning of the year, that looked like a good matchup.
Well, I mean, you had Packers Dolphins Sunday morning, and then
yeah, that was 1 out of 3.
yeah,
Like the game was close. Bucks Cardinals should have been a great game with Kyler and at the time, D Hop
yeah,
was there. But Trace McSorley, it wasn't even Colt McCoy.
yeah, he's out.
Tom Brady can't generate any offense whatsoever. The Bucks defense is fine.
And he's still not considering retirement. Crazy if he does. If he doesn't. Crazy.
If they can start scoring points like last year.
Here's the thing. He's not going to be the quarterback of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers next year.
No, I think he's going to go and take Jimmy G's spot.
Over in San Fran? Well, Jimmy's not there. Jimmy's not there in free agency this year. He's in free agency this year.
San Francisco he's going to go to San Francisco, where he's from, play a year, end his career as a 49er, and walk into the sunset, quite literally, in sunny California. Yeah. Even though it snows up in San Francisco, or Santa Clara, wherever you want to call it.
And then the last game of the week was Chargers Colts. Quick. I need a Chargers fans.
They made the playoffs.
Word here.
Yay.
Should Derwin James been ejected last night?
That was a horrible hit. He hit him so hard, he himself got a concussion.
It looked like it was shoulder pad from the angle I saw it.
He led with the crown.
That's
From
fair.
what I remember, he led with the crown. Am I shocked he got ejected? I am. In college, yeah, they would have targeted that one.
Oh, yeah.
That's easy targeting in college, but at the pro level, to actually see someone get ejected for not throwing a punch or a helmet,
Wild.
I couldn't believe he actually got ejected.
Yeah, it was wild.
But, yeah, I mean, like I said, he hit him so hard, he got a concussion himself.
Right. But yeah.
That's how hard he hit him.
Chargers clinch playoff. Huge for them. Baby Goat's first time in the playoffs.
I'm so happy.
You might as well just get a jersey.
No, it's not the Cade story yet. He's actually played a handful of few seasons,
That's
full
true.
Seasons. Cade can't make it through a full year, so I'm allowed to get a Cade one. Justin has to miss 3 more years before I can get one.
Yeah. But anyway, guys.
Oh, I don't jinx him, at least.
That's true. I think that's gonna do it for us today. Pretty quick episode. But if you're watching over on YouTube, go ahead and like the video and subscribe to the channel. Also, comment question of the day. What did you guys think about Eagles Cowboys over the weekend? It was the best game of the weekend. And give us your thoughts and opinions on it. If you're listening over on Spotify, go ahead and leave us a review. Let us know how we're doing. And hit us up on Twitter, where you can find me, Killing Kane, at Killing Kane on Twitter and YouTube. Go ahead, hit them with your socials, Ben.
My Twitter is Realdaygaming1, and the show's Twitter is the Kane and Day Show. Look
That's
for the blue check mark.
It's there now. Yeah,
It is
it's there. But anyway, guys, I'm Kane, and this is Day, and we'll talk to you guys next time.